My name is Sarah Jennings. I live in a quiet neighborhood in Illinois with my son, Ethan. Ever since his father passed away in a car accident when Ethan was just 7, it's been the two of us navigating life side by side. I never remarried, not because I didn't have opportunities, but because I poured all my energy into raising Ethan. He was my entire world, and as he grew older, I could see bits of his father in his mannerisms, how he furrowed his brow when he was thinking, or how his laughter could light up a room. Ethan was 17 when he came to me that day. He was never shy around me, but that afternoon, I noticed something different in his behavior. He hovered in the kitchen while I was folding laundry, tapping his fingers nervously on the counter. "Mom," he finally said, his voice quiet. I turned and smiled. "What's up, honey?" He looked at the floor for a moment, then back at me. "Can we talk? Like, privately?" I put the laundry down and nodded. "Of course. Let's go sit." We moved to the living room. I sat on the couch, and he sat across from me in the armchair, still fidgeting. "You can tell me anything," I said gently, trying to ease the tension I could feel building in him. "I know," he said, exhaling. "That's why I'm coming to you." There was a long pause. He finally looked up and met my eyes. "Mom, I think I'm ready. For my first time." For a moment, I froze. Not because I was shocked that he was thinking about that. He was 17, nearly 18, but because he had chosen to talk to me about it. Most teenage boys would keep something like that locked away in silence or talk to a friend. But Ethan had come to me. I didn't jump in right away. I wanted to let him continue on his own terms. "There's this girl at school," he said, cheeks turning red. "Her name's Natalie. We've been hanging out a lot. She's smart and funny, and I really like her. I respect her. And, well, I think it might happen soon. But I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to hurt her. I just don't know what I'm doing." I felt a surge of emotion. Not just pride, but also the bittersweet ache of watching my baby grow into a young man. He wasn't asking for permission, and he wasn't being flippant. He was being honest, vulnerable, and considerate. It was probably one of the most mature moments I had ever witnessed from him. I nodded, collecting my thoughts. "Thank you for coming to me, Ethan," I said. "That takes a lot of courage." He gave a small, nervous smile. "You always said honesty matters more than pretending." I did. "And you're proving that now." He looked relieved that I wasn't yelling or freaking out. I took a deep breath. "You're almost 18. These choices are becoming part of your life, and I'm glad you're thinking about them with respect and maturity. If you're thinking about being with Natalie, I want you to understand a few things, not from a rulebook, but from real life." He nodded, eyes wide, like he was ready to soak up anything I said. "First, this isn't just about physical stuff. It's about emotional readiness too. How do you feel about her, honestly?" "I really care about her," he said. "It's not just a crush. I like who she is, the way she talks, the way she treats people. I feel like I could talk to her for hours." "That's a good sign," I said. "If you're going to share something as personal and meaningful as your first experience, it should be with someone you trust and care about." He looked relieved again, maybe expecting a lecture. But I wasn't going to shame him. That wasn't my job as a parent. My job was to guide him through life, not punish him for living it. I spent the next hour talking to him not about graphic details, but about consent, trust, emotions, and responsibility. I talked about protection, yes, but more importantly, I talked about respect, respecting her boundaries, his own, and the weight that moments like these carry. Ethan asked questions, real, honest ones. I could see he was scared, not of the act itself, but of messing it up, of hurting Natalie, of making a mistake. That humility made me proud. "You'll make mistakes in life," I said. "That's part of being human. But when you lead with kindness and honesty, you'll always be able to face yourself in the mirror." "Thanks, Mom," he said. "I wasn't sure how you'd react." I smiled and reached over to squeeze his hand. "You've always been a good person, Ethan. That's what matters most." The following weeks, he and Natalie continued seeing each other. I didn't pry, but he'd occasionally mention things, how they went to a movie, how she was applying to colleges in the same region he was, how she laughed when he tried to bake her cookies but burned the batch. One evening, he came home, walked into the kitchen where I was reading, and leaned against the counter. "It happened," he said simply. I closed the book and looked up at him. "Are you okay?" He nodded. "Yeah. More than okay." It felt right. We talked a lot before and after. And I remembered everything you said. It wasn't just physical. It felt like connection. I felt a lump rise in my throat. My son, my little Ethan, was becoming a man who understood what love, or the beginning of love, could look like. "I'm happy for you," I said. Truly. Over the next year, I watched Ethan grow in ways I didn't expect. He started cooking more often. He volunteered at the local animal shelter. He even helped Natalie study for her calculus exam, though math had never been his strong suit. And then one Sunday afternoon, months later, he asked me if Natalie could come over for dinner to meet me properly. She'd been over before briefly, but not for anything formal. I said yes, of course. I cleaned the house, made lasagna, and set the table a little nicer than usual. When she arrived, I saw what Ethan saw in her bright eyes, a warm smile, and kindness that felt genuine. We talked for over 2 hours at the table, laughing, sharing stories, talking about college and life and the future. At one point, Ethan excused himself to grab drinks, and Natalie turned to me. "Mrs. Jennings," she said softly, "I just want you to know. Ethan's always speaking so highly of you. He said you're the reason he learned to be thoughtful and kind. And I see it in him." I smiled, trying not to tear up. "Thank you, Natalie. That means the world to me." Later that night, after she left, Ethan stood in the kitchen with me as I washed dishes. "I love her," he said quietly. I dried my hands and turned to him. "I know. And I think she might love you too." He looked down, a little shy. "You're not scared I'm too young?" I shook my head. "No, because you're grounded. You're honest. You're respectful. That's what matters more than age." That conversation was nearly 2 years ago. Ethan and Natalie are now attending college in Wisconsin together. They visit during holidays, and every time I see them, I see the journey they're walking together. Looking back, I'm so grateful Ethan trusted me that day. I know it's not common, sons going to their moms for guidance on something so personal. But I wouldn't trade that moment for anything. It wasn't awkward. It was beautiful. It was a turning point, not just in his life, but in our relationship. He taught me something too, that sometimes the best parenting isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to listen, to accept, and to walk beside them as they figure it out for themselves.